Stop! What? You don't need to hand sew your buttons anymore. Really? Let me show you how easy it is to sew them using your Brother NV180 in today's episode of Sewing Saturday. As a sewing beginner, we sometimes get confused with so many tips and tutorials online. And I'm glad to introduce you to our newest sewing video series featuring the easiest tips and tricks that I wish I learned when I started sewing. It's Julius again from Sew It's Your Style, and welcome to Sewing Saturday, where we teach you how to become a better sewer. From tips and tricks, all the way to making your very first project. Join us today as we explore the basics of sewing. So we all know that buttons are mainly used as fasteners to join two pieces of fabric together. They can be made out of plastic, metal, wood, or in some cases, seashells. Aside from garments, they can also be used in accessories as well as in containers such as bags or wallets. And as sewers, we all dread this part of the process wherein we have to finally put in the buttons on a garment after spending hours and hours on end constructing it. That is one of the dreadful tasks of being a sewer. So this is why modern technology comes in really handy. Computerized sewing machines of today are fully capable of handling pretty much every aspect of the garment construction process. From the actual construction process to embroidering, to hem finishing, applique sewing, as well as button sewing. However, despite these many features, I know that some of us are still hand sewing buttons. Not anymore. Sewing machines of today can do that for you. And this is what I'll be showing you in today's episode of Sewing Saturday. Once again, my name is Julius, and join me as I demonstrate how to sew in a button using the Brother NV180. Buttons come in different sizes, styles, and shapes. The most commonly used button for garment sewing is a 2 or 4 hole flat button, usually made out of plastic on ready-to-wear garments. Their size ranges from 7 all the way up to 40 millimeters. And this is what I'll be using in today's demonstration. Now let me tell you, aside from the flat button, there are actually different types of buttons used in sewing. There is a shank button. They do not have holes in them, but a shank underneath to sew the button in place. We have the stud button, which is very popular in manufacturing denim jeans. They're also called jeans button. And lastly, we have decorative buttons. They're technically non-functional and are often used for decorative purposes, such as in cufflinks, lapels of jackets, as well as in necklines. Despite the many types and variations of buttons, however, we can only use the flat button in machine sewing. And this is because they're flat and can easily go into the machine. So there are some limitations, of course. And always remember that different types of buttons are sewn or attached to garments in different ways or techniques. So let's work with this flat button. Now, to be able to sew this button using the NV180, we must remember that in button sewing, the button foot must be used. The button fitting foot or the presser foot M looks like this. They come standard in most Brother sewing machines. This is a special foot used to securely hold a button in place while providing a clear view of the sewing or stitching area. It has a rubberized grip that keeps the button from slipping out of place. To begin, first, measure the distance between the holes in the button to be attached. Record the distance in millimeters. Then thread the machine as normal with the preferred colored thread. Ensure that the presser foot lever is raised. Then slide the feed dog position switch located at the rear end of the machine base. This will stop the feed dog from moving the fabric when sewing. Attach the button fitting foot. Then select the button sewing stitch. Adjust the width of the stitch so that it is the same as the distance between the holes in the button. Insert the garment or the fabric to be sewn with the button. Place the button in the position where it will be sewn and lower the presser foot lever. Turn the hand wheel towards you to check that the needle goes correctly into the holes of the button. When attaching 4-hole buttons, first sew the 2 holes closest to you. Then slide the button so that the needle goes into the 2 holes toward the rear of the machine. Sew the remaining 2 holes in the same way. One thing to remember when sewing buttons, if it seems as if the needle is going to hit the button, you have to remeasure the distance between the 2 holes on the button. Then adjust the stitch width to the distance of the 2 holes. The machine will automatically stop after sewing reinforcement stitches once done. Do not press the thread cutter button. Just raise the presser foot lever and pull the fabric out of the machine. Use a clipper or a scissor to cut the upper and bobbin thread. Pull the upper thread to the wrong side of the fabric and tie it with the bobbin thread. Et voila! Your button is now securely sewn in place. This technique will only take you a few minutes of practice, but once you get the hang of it, you will always look forward to sewing your buttons using your sewing machine. The Brother NV180 really never disappoints when it comes to its sewing features. And if you have this machine, you did the right decision buying it, as it is packed with multiple sewing features that can help you get better with your sewing journey. Once again, this is Julius from Sew It's Your Style, and I hope you enjoyed today's simple tutorial, and I will see you again in the next episode of Sewing Saturday. Bye now.